Hello, this is Sarah Hood, managing broker for upnest.com, and I'm here today with Richard Schulman. He works for Keller Williams Realty, has a pretty large team, and has been with Upnest for years, so he's been a wonderful partner to us, and we've got a great relationship with him and his team. He works out of California, more specifically in the Los Angeles and surrounding areas, and we're looking forward to talking with him today.
Cool. Well, hey, Sarah, thank you for having me on the Upnest podcast. Very excited to be here. My name is Richard Schulman. I'm a real estate agent in the Los Angeles area. We cover the whole LA area, even things that aren't called LA and things that are next to things that are called LA. So all over the LA metro area. I've been selling real estate for 17 and a half years, still using halves. And, I've been through a lot of weird markets. This is definitely the weirdest. Let me update that. I've sold everything you can imagine. I mean, literally everything from like houses and condos to car shops and, weed storage facilities and all sorts of things in between. So wow. If it's real estate, I can sell it. Prefer just to do regular people and regular houses and condos and such. I've sold about 2,000 homes in that time, and I have a sales team that helps me. My sales team lives and works all over the LA area, so we can really give our clients a really good customized experience. So it's a 10 million person county, and we individually can't service the whole county, but as a team we can. And I'm really proud of that because our clients bounce around all over the place. They buy a house here and sell a house there, and they can move from agent to agent with the same guarantee of customer experience.
That's great. And so how big is your team?
So we've got about 12 agents and we've got about 7 full-time staff. So we're very heavy on full-time administrative staff, and that really helps to give our agents the most leverage possible. So our agents are focused on selling. That's their job. Their job is to find buyers for our sellers and to find sellers for our buyers. And that's a lot of groundwork, a lot of phone calls and door knocking and calling agents looking for stuff. We just got a closing today on a $2.1 million deal off market. Our clients were looking for the most specific property, and we found it for them. It took a few months, but we found it off market. 3 people saw it. My guys bought it.
Yeah.
So our staff is great. Full-time professional staff, almost all of them licensed. And the agents, range of experiences and backgrounds and language capabilities and areas. So I have agents that live in many different area codes, all the area codes, really.
Yeah. Sounds like you give your clients a personal touch. You stick with them. You give them that white glove service to help them find their next home.
It's funny. I just had a meeting with one of my top agents today, and we were just talking about a trip she went on for her anniversary with her husband, and talking about her experience there. And I tried to buy her a gift card as a surprise. I knew she was going there. And so I'm like, I'll buy her a gift card so they can go to like a fancy dinner at the hotel, at this fancy hotel.
Yeah. And
I literally could not find, there's a point to this story, by the way, in case you guys are getting bored. If you're getting bored, just speed up to like 2x speed. I said, I'll just buy her a gift card. No big deal. She can go to a nice dinner with her husband at this fancy hotel in San Diego. Called the hotel, got a voicemail, emailed the hotel, email bounced back, did the contact page on the website, no response. Ooh. And we talked about like what a poor experience that was. This is not it's not a Motel 6, it's a fancy hotel,
sure,
with a fancy restaurant. And, what we talked about is we want to provide our clients the opposite of that experience, that there's a lot of money on the line here, any way they look at it, buying, selling, leasing. Nothing we do in Los Angeles is inexpensive. It's one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world. Right. And our clients deserve the Ritz-Carlton experience. Our clients deserve the best possible experience for their, we aim to solve the problems for them to help the move be seamless. We want to find them the off-market property. If they're out of town, we're going to get the property cleaned up for them when they move in. It's all ready to go. Anything that you can imagine that we can do, we try to do to make sure that they don't have that, missing gift card experience.
Right. Yeah. And there's a lot of stress that goes with moving, buying, selling, leasing, all of it.
Yeah.
It's a stressful time. And sometimes agents forget that. It sounds like you guys are honing in on it to take care of that before it's even an issue for a client.
Yeah, I mean, we've just done this for a long time, so you kind of learn by doing it. You can't really read this in a book, but you sell a couple thousand homes, and all of a sudden you sort of figure out like, hey, if I just like get our cleaning crew over there while our clients are moving from out of state or something, that's just going to make their day so much better. It doesn't cost anything for us really, and it just makes everything so much simpler. We have all the vendors. We have vendors that do everything. We even have a vendor that just hangs things on walls for people.
Nice.
But like the best.
Right.
Like all the problems that we've ever run into, we've now figured out solutions. So there's really nothing we run into that we don't have a pre-made solution for. And look, buying a home, selling a home, it's still a ton of money. It's still a chaotic time in the world to do this, but we're going to make it like a little bit less chaotic for you and give you that better experience. By the way, we're also going to help you get top dollar for your home or get you the best value or find you the best property if you're a buyer. But I think people sometimes remember they moved into a clean place, that they didn't have to search for someone to do it.
Love it. Yeah. So as far as the experience goes, the client is going to have a great experience with you guys. How do you help them price their home to sell?
Oh, interesting. So pricing is such like an interesting topic as far as what you do. I mean, obviously we all know there's some websites that have automated valuation models, AVMs. Those are, approximately correct sometimes. We try to really understand that pricing a home is a holistic experience.
Yeah.
So we look at the direct comps, and we also look at what we call bracket comps, which are what's in the next category up and the next category down, right? If we want to aim for a stretch price, how does that compare to the next product up market from us? And how does it compare to the next market down from us? As far as, that's how you really figure out the value of the home, right? Now your question was pricing. Pricing is a strategy, value is a number. The strategy we predominantly use would be underpricing the home to get activity. So let's say hypothetically we had a property that we thought the value was $1,050,000. Depending on a bunch of variables, but in general, let's say our strategy would be to price that home at $999. We would get a line of people out the door thinking there's a deal to be had. And by the time we're done with it, we, hopefully we're having bids well in excess of the $1,050,000 because the bidding war has gotten, people have gotten traction on that bidding war.
And is that this market specifically?
It's property specific. Even though the market as a whole is very hot right now, this is, October 2021, the market's hot. By November, it might not be, we've been in March of last year, the market was dead. In July, it was the hottest ever. In December, it was dead again. And then by February, it was even hotter than the hottest ever before that. Every property is different. Every market is different, and each property in every market is also different. So, a condo in West LA has a different pricing strategy than a home in the San Fernando Valley, right? So everything is a very customized approach because we know these markets and we know the best strategy because we're in these markets, right? I know what your home is worth, Sarah, and I know how to price your home, Sarah, because I probably have clients or someone on the team has clients who are trying to buy your home or just made an offer on the most recent comp. And it's very common when we're looking at comps for properties that we've sold the most recent comp or we bid on the most recent comp for it.
Great. And this leads into my next question perfectly. What do you attribute to your success and your team's success? Is it everything you've just said and more?
Yeah, I mean, but that's, I'm trying to be a little humble about it. I don't know. It's like we're so great. Everything. Look, I think the bottom line is that we try to treat this like a real job.
Yeah.
And and I know, and probably the people listening know that a lot of agents don't treat it like a real job. We go to the office in the morning and we work all day, and then we answer the phone and we work on the weekends, and we're not working half time or doing it on the side like a lot of realtors. So that's one. One is just being there in the marketplace, gives us exposure to the market, allows us to build those agent relationships where we can find those special deals for people. Allows us to see what's happening in the market. Obviously, the experience is a huge factor. I have agents on the team with me several years. I've been doing this 17 years. We've sold an enormous volume of property, so we know what we're doing. And then I think at the end of the day, we're just really, and I don't know, and no one's going to believe me when I say this, we are really married to the outcome for our clients. And here's the reason why, is that selling your home is not that important for me in the sense of, it's far more important for me to sell your home. You got to listen to the whole thing. Sell your home and then get your referral and your repeat and the referrals from the repeats.
Yes.
There was a guy I met at an open house in 2010. You can cut any of my boring stories that you like, Sarah.
No, you're fine.
I met this guy at an open house in 2010. walks into a foreclosed home in Encino, California, and drives up in a BMW that far exceeds the BMW you would drive up in for this house. And he walks in like a big shot. And I would tell him this story to his face. He would think it would be hilarious, by the way. But walks in and he says, "Why should I buy this house?" And I don't know. Like, what are you looking for? Why should you buy it? Maybe,
Yeah.
I said, he's like, "I'm looking for cash flow investment properties." I said, "Well, this is not the right house for you. It's not going to work. I can find you something better." He said, "I talked to 10 realtors today. You're the first realtor that told me not to buy the house they were holding open. Call me tomorrow." So anyways, long story short, I sold him about 12 properties and about 13 or so more to people he directly referred to me. So that was 25 sales. That's why it's important to do right by the customer, because I can earn those 25 sales from the chain of meeting someone, doing a job for them, and then over 11, 12 years now, earn that referral and repeat business.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that kind of differentiates you from a lot of agents out there. I would say there are a lot of part-timers. There are a lot of agents who, just work on the weekends or do it as a side gig. And that's really not okay for the client. I know I would want to put my biggest investment in the hands of someone who didn't do that job full time.
Yeah. And not only that, it's really important. People ask me this question in person, and I really try to stress to them, you can't really stress how important it is that your agent not only is doing business historically, but also is doing business in this marketplace, which is different than, like I said, different than February, different than December, different than last March. It's changing rapidly. And I've had clients opt to hire other agents sometimes. And I say, they haven't sold a house in 4 months. Like, this should be a concern for you.
Yes.
And the results are not there. You follow the results of the property and the results are not there.
Yeah. Right. Well, shifting gears just a minute here. I know we talked a little bit about this before we started recording. COVID, it's not going anywhere. I'm kind of sick of talking about it and hearing about it like everyone else, but it's still here. How has it affected you and your team, and what do you do differently in this market?
First of all, I would say everything, whenever we discuss COVID, we discuss in a business sense, and there's definitely some, significant human cost to this that I don't want to overlook, but I understand the context of the question is in regards to the real estate market. Look, in March of last year, we had the biggest March ever. And then one day we had the worst March ever, basically in a 2-day span, and a bunch of escrows. And we've never had so many escrows canceled. Of course, why would you stay in an escrow in March of 2020?
Right.
The market got hot. The market got cold. The market got hot again. The market stayed hot. For the real estate sales business, the market has been incredible because it's by far the busiest year on record as far as number of homes sold. For homeowners, it's been great. And for people who bought homes, the longer they've owned their home, it's been great. I have clients that are up 15% this calendar year on their home. That's nearly unprecedented. So it's been great for those people. As far as the real estate business, I find this to be a much more efficient business as an agent, as a business owner myself now. And it's more efficient, not just for me, but for the clients. We find that the number of showings per client is down, that people are being much more particular about the homes they choose to see, which is less of my time, less of their time, and less of the seller's time. And that's fantastic. Yeah. We find that the sellers are also not wanting a million people to run through their home. So they're being more serious about preparing their home for sale the right way, painting the home, staging the home, temporarily or permanently moving out of the home, and then pricing it for what we talked about before, that market excitement pricing, and then selling the home quickly for top dollar. All these things are producing a better experience for everyone, and the result is not being impacted negatively. The result is also the same or better for everyone. So how is COVID?
Like good things.
I'm sorry, Sarah?
Those all sound like good things.
Yeah, they're great. Obviously we want to go back to normal to some degree, whatever that might look like, but not going to an office every day for me is great. And being able to spend more time with my clients per transaction is also great. Every time I'm not showing you a home that you're not going to end up buying is more time I can spend with you showing you a home that you are going to buy.
Love it. Upnest.com. You've been on the platform for a long time.
Long
time. And probably longer than I've been here. So I've worked for Upnest almost 5 years, and I think you were on the platform when I came to over here from Century 21. So you've seen the growth, you've seen us change a little bit, and it's been awesome to have you on board and kind of watch, you take these clients who already know a little bit about you when they get your proposal and seal the deal with the interview and close on their property. We've had a lot of happy clients. But from your perspective, I'm curious to know just your day-to-day and how you work with your team. What do you like best about UpNest? It's kind of a unique platform as far as referrals go.
Yeah, well, first of all, and thank you. It's been a wonderful relationship for, I don't even know how long, but it seems like, I mean, if you told me 15 years, I wouldn't disagree with you because it's been a long time. But, I like that for me as the agent that there's, that there's an interaction with UpNest as far as that you guys are finding the right agent. And I'm sure if I'm not a match for some reason by area or specialty, that you're placing them elsewhere. And if myself and my team are a match in particular, that you're placing them with us. And that's good because we want to be the best agent for someone. I don't want to take a job. We turned down a listing the other day because we weren't experts in that area. We referred them to somewhere else. And it was certainly a big enough price point that we wanted to think about it. But we want to make sure we have a good match with the client. So we know that by you guys having that first interaction, you're able to take one step in that process. I think from the client's perspective, what's really nice about this relationship is that this is a small family as far as like, we're not doing 100 deals a month together. This is a small thing. And when I'm hired, my team is hired through UpNest, the client has the guarantee of knowing that someone from UpNest is monitoring the success of the transaction through an unbelievable number of emails and texts and phone calls, a staggering number of emails that I get from UpNest.
So noted. Thank you.
Yeah. It's fun. Just maybe put a pin in that one. But not only that, you know what I tell people when I meet with them? Here's the reality, right? It's kind of like what I mentioned before, is that if you sell a home and you're moving out of state, which is a fair number of sellers in our market and from front of our UpNest clients, we're never going to interact again. And what's to make sure that I'm going to do a great job for you? What's to make sure is that if there's a problem, which I've never had one complaint through UpNest, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're absolutely right.
If someone had a problem or even a question or concern they just didn't think was being addressed properly, they could call you, Sarah, or their UpNest contact. And I'm so afraid of dropping the ball with UpNest because it's such an important part of our business. So I look at it like it's a warranty on the performance for the seller.
Yeah, it sure is. That's a wonderful answer. I love that. And we have that in common, that we're really looking out for the client. That's what UpNest and the sales team, the UpNest advisors, all the way to our managers and our, execs from the exec level, we want to help the client. And you're right, we haven't ever had a complaint on you guys. That's
not a challenge to people listening to be the first one. There's no prize.
No prize involved, but it's a nice thing because transactions can be messy and things can happen that are out of your hands. And just to be there to smooth out those bumps and to handle the issues as they come, take care of them for the client, that's a huge deal. Yeah,
and look, not to say that if not for UpNest, we would be loosey-goosey on these transactions. We still have a very high standard, but just to be clear there. We're still looking to have, 99.9% success rate with our interactions.
Right. What advice would you have for someone looking to become a real estate agent in your market?
Oh, I would say don't do it.
I was afraid to say that.
Is that not the right answer?
No, I mean, if that's your answer, that's totally fine. I've thought that myself about my own market. It's just a lot harder than it looks. I think if you make a transaction look pretty easy, which you do, you're handling a whole lot behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think, when I meet people who are starting in real estate, they usually come from like three possible fields. One is, I have no idea what to do with myself. I'm going to sell real estate. Two is, it looks cool on TV. And three is, I bought a house and my realtor was terrible and made a lot of money, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And none of those are really good reasons to do it. Look, I don't think that it's a terribly complicated business, but it takes about 2 years, in my estimation, of full-time work and training to be moderately competent in real estate. And it's a very, very hard business to walk into, learn everything you need to do, and meet enough clients that you can then turn around and actually have sales business and sales income coming in. So it's not to say literally discourage people. I think people need to realize that this is not a TV show. It's not, I open a door with a super key and collect a check. And it's not what you do if you can't figure out what to do. Well, it's a real business. I have people on my team with professional degrees. I have people on my team with lengthy prior careers who walk in with 10 or 20 years of business experience just to get started. We do have agents who come in new and fresh, but the ones who do treat it like a business. This is not like people say, oh, it's flexible. I want to be really because it's flexible. It's not flexible. We have an 8:45 meeting every day. You're expected to already be dressed and ready, even though it's by Zoom. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to start calling your clients and your escrows at 9. You're prospecting all morning and doing all your business in the morning, and you're out in the field in the afternoon. It's a full-time 50, 60-hour week job minimum. And if you treat it as anything less than that, it's not going to work. So what do I say to people? It's like, this is a real job. And if you don't want a real job, this is not going to, you're not going to accidentally succeed.
Yep. So. Yep. I would have to agree. So
there's also too many real estate agents and we need fewer.
Yeah, I agree with that too. For a while there, especially in the Midwest, anyone with a heartbeat could get a real estate license. And a lot of them did.
Yeah. I think in California, there's like 350,000 licensed agents. I mean, some of those are loan officers and escrow officers and assistants, but I mean, it shouldn't even be like 20% of that.
Right. Yep. Well, I'll end on this question. It's a little lighter note. So in your 17 and a half years, I'm sure you could write a book. What's one of your funniest stories or something adventurous that happened while selling or helping a buyer?
Oh, I should have read the pre-show questions. Oh, that's a good question. We might have to edit some pause time. I got to think about that.
That's fine. Yeah, they'll edit this all up.
I think I think like the first one that pops in my head, there's probably better ones. The first one that pops in my head is I go on a listing presentation for a house in Mar Vista, which is near Santa Monica, California. I forget the price point. Let's say it's like $1.25 million. This is a few years ago. It's probably close to $2 million now. It's like $1.25 million, basically tear down value. It's a land value house. And I go into the house and the backyard, which is only, I don't know, a 5,500 foot lot, postage stamp lot. It's a pretty small yard. The backyard is like 4 feet deep with marijuana plants. The whole, every inch of yard, and not like growing wild, like in neat rows. Clearly, it's like a professional agricultural operation. And they said, well, what do you think about that? And I said, well, I don't really care what you want to do in your free time, but this needs to be gone by our open house or by our photos. I mean, because I can't have this on photos. It's not going to work.
Right.
And I came back like 3 days later and the backyard was just like, Home Depot flowers and sod and just looked like, normal American backyard. And we never spoke of it again. I have no idea what happened to it.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That would never happen in Indiana. Well, I shouldn't say never.
Yeah, but it's like just in the middle of the city, in the middle of just a painfully normal, regular neighborhood. Nothing weird or plenty of people could have seen it and whatever.
Right.
I just need a gone guy. I don't care what you do with it. I just can't take pictures of it and sell the house. I can't have an open house and kids wandering around back here.
Hey, they listened, and I'm sure you sold the place, right?
Sold it. Everything was great, and but that was it was funny.
Yeah.
I hope that meets your standard for funny story.
Yeah, it's the best one I've heard this week for sure.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Richard, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. All of UpNest, I can speak on behalf of them. I'm sure we really value the partnership and appreciate you working with these crazy internet leads sometimes. I should say that. We'll cut that out, but you know how it goes sometimes. So we do appreciate you very much.
Yeah, thank you too. I enjoyed this and happy to chat with anyone who has any further questions.